Hello and welcome to Gary's Garage. So today I'm working on the Santa Fe again. We got the job that we're doing today is on the passenger side. The door lock actuator works occasionally, or intermittently is the correct term. So sometimes you lock it and it locks like it's doing right now. It's locking and unlock fine, and then sometimes it doesn't work. So what I've got here is I've got a new door lock actuator. I think this is a Standard Motor Products one, not the cheapest one, but cheaper than the dealer, a couple $100. But you can see it's got the Hyundai stamp on it, so it kind of tells me that however they source these comes from the same manufacturer that manufactures them for Hyundai Kia, which is good. So we know that it should fit and it should work as the original does, which means for about 8-10 years, and that's going to fail. So let's get started getting this in. So some of the tools you'll need is a small pick, a Phillips screwdriver, and a T30 Torx on a ratchet. That's a 3/8 drive. And so the first tool you need is the pick, and there's some little caps that you got to take the cover off of. So you'll find one in the door card right underneath right here, and there's a little corner, and you just use the pick. Now I want to drop this, so get it off, and then you can store it in the door card if you want, but I'm going to put it over here on the bench. So that's the first one out of there. Then there's another one where the door pull is. You'll see it there, and you'll also see the little slot. So you get the pick in there and just gently pull this out. And this one has a little attachment, so it stays with it, and it exposes the Phillips screw. And then there's another one up here, just at the front of the door, and there's a little flat side here. Again, just get the pick in there, and that cover will come out and expose the Phillips headed screw. So those are the three, and then there's another screw on the bottom in the middle. I'm not getting it on the camera here, but I'll find it and I'll show you how that goes. So let's get the screwdriver. So one of the other things you need to do is take off this enclosure, and this car has a tweeter part of the stereo, so you can just use a trim tool and get behind and pop, and there you go. So just to keep it out of your way, you can unplug this and put it aside. Usual connector stuff. There's a little tab to push. I don't know, I have to look at this to get it out. I can't do these one-handed like some guys can, but yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Just push on the knob. Look at this, I'm better than I thought. There we go. Now that's off. So because once you get the screws out, you'll be lifting the door card up to get it off. It hooks along the top of near the window here, and so you have to lift up to get it off. So let me get the screwdriver and we'll get this out. Alright, then let's find this guy here. There he is, just on the front. Ooh. Probably can't see that there. I'm blocking the light. Not too good if I'm blocking the light. All right. So right in the corner there, you can, there you go, you guys can see it. Magnetic tray, perfect. Okay, last one is in here. I'll just fast forward through this stuff. Here we go. And there we go. So then the next thing is we got to get the trim tool again. Go back. Let's grab the trim tool. I have various trim tools. Start with the small one. There's a, at the bottom of the door, right in about the center here, you'll see there's a little sort of slot. It's a place to put a trim tool in. And the idea is that you can pull this off, but sometimes it's easier just to grab the pocket and pull forward. So let me just set you down. Turn this up. I'm just going to give this a bit of a yank. It's coming. Now there's little clips that hold the door card into the steel, and they go into the door cart. They slide in, and sometimes they'll break when you take this off, like I just broke that one. All right, but once you get them all off, you've got some electrical to take off, and you got the door handle to deal with, right? But you'll sorry, the door handle to sort of deal with, but you should be able to, yeah, there we go, that's what I forgot. There we go. You can take this little trim piece off and put that aside. So now you'll be able to get this straight off, and the electrical connectors have to be done after, but it's hard to do this at one-handed. There we go. Lift the door straight up, and I'm gonna have to put you down, but there's a connector underneath for the door lock and window switches, so I gotta disconnect that to get the door card off, and I don't want to hang it from that, so I'll cut you off here and I'll show you after. So now we move on to the next part. So the next thing to do is remove the door handle. There's a couple of Phillips screws here, here, and here, so it's 3 of them, and you can get that off, and then we'll remove the cables from the door handle to free this up to get that ready to go through. So okay, that's the next step. I'll show you. I'll get the light on this so we can see. So before you remove these cables, these release cables, you'll notice that one is dark and the other one is light. There's a gray one and a black one. So the black one is on the top, and they have different ends. There's a sort of a rounded side on the black one, and it's square on the gray one. To get them out, you can see there's sort of a slot in the handle, and you just have to pull up towards you, or towards the back of the unit. Might be easier to show you on this one, but it's a two-handed job. I can't really hold the camera here and show you. So it's just pushing this up. So just hang on. I'll see if I can set the camera up so you can see. Okay, may not be super close, but just that's all you have to do. And then you turn them, and then they'll just come out. So snap, turn it, and where's that slot? Then there's a little slot, and then you can pull it off. So there's a little slot in there, and that allows the cable to pass through. And same with this one, it's just you have to go past the end of this, and you can see that there's a slot where the cable rides here, and you just have to get the angle out, and then it'll pull off. So now that you're finished with this, you can set this aside, and now you have the unit. So the next thing to do is to take this inner cover off, and before you do that, you've got these little rubber seals, and it's a good idea to just push the rubber seals in like this. That way you won't have to do this once you've got this inner door flapping in the wind, because before you pull everything apart, you have to disconnect the door handle from the latch. And there is there's a little plug in here. Get a pick in, and you should be able to get the plug out. Once the plug's out, you get access to a screw in there. Get your Phillips screwdriver. And it should be here. I believe it's the number 2. Or the JIS equivalent. I'm going to need 2 hands. Hang on. Once you get this screw loose, there's a little plastic housing that holds it in place. So don't try to pull it right out, but just pull it out, and then this little cap here on the handle will come right off, and that'll be your next step, and then we'll work on getting the door handle out. Once you have the door lock plug or whatever, because the passenger side there's no lock in there, and there's no key slot, you just take the handle and you slide it towards the end of the cart like that, and then lift it out from the back, and then just tilt it, and then this part will come out at the front, and it'll reveal this 8mm and Phillips screw that you remove. Well, I think you can leave, in theory you can leave this on, but I'm not too sure if you really have to, because there's a slot, but you'd have to pull it in and move it forward. So I'm not too sure. There we go. Just push in through the hole, and push in, and then you can get it loose. So once it's loose, then we can remove it from this side. So when I'm doing this, usually I'll leave the top one in the center. Wow. Maybe I need a bit more torque. Whoa. All right. So the next thing up is to remove the window motor. To remove the window motor, you need a T20. You can let it hang, but you know, if you don't want to do that, remove the electrical connector at the end. This is kind of like a two-handed job. Oh, did it again! Wow. There we go. It's disconnected, and then run these out, and then take it off. So, all right. So once it's off, you can pull it out, and the drive, there's a shaft, but you've got these slots in here, and that matches up with here. You can actually move the window up and down this way. So, and it clips in here, so when you take this off, it'll... Okay, one of the things you have to do, if you can see in there, there's a orange headed nut in through this hole and through this hole. And these are the clamps that hold the window to the track. So you need to loosen those off. You don't have to take them out, just loosen them off, and then you should be able to move the window up in the track. And it's good if you have get a piece of tape and you tape the window up to the top so it doesn't slide down. So I'll get that, I got a piece of tape and I'll tape this up and we'll be good to go. So once you've got your window taped up, and you can adjust the slider up and down, it can be closer to the bottom. The next thing to do, you've got all this on, you know it's ready to come off, is to take your T30 and undo the latch from the body, from the door frame. You can tell they're not crazy tight, so keep that in mind when you're putting it back in. So I'll just spin these out, and then we'll be able to take out the unit. Now the door latch is attached to a bracket which is riveted to the back of this panel. So when you take it out, it kind of comes out all as one, and then there's a way of unhooking the door latch from this bracket. So just take a few seconds here. So let me get this out, and I'll bring you back. Well, let's see if I can remember how to do this. So it's all loose now, I believe. There's a couple of locating pins left and right, and then so now that it's off, I've just used a stool. It's a good idea to use a stool or something like that, just to sit so you don't put too much strain on the wires. And then you can look at the back. So there's a couple of things to do to get this off. So the first thing is the electrical connector. There's a little tab. Press the tab down and pull. Again, I'm being challenged to do this with one hand. Ain't gonna happen. I'm just gonna do it, but I mean, you guys can figure it out. With the connector off, now what you can do is remove the door latch assembly from the mounting bracket. Here's the mounting bracket that's riveted onto the back of this inner door car cover, this door car cover or inner cover, whatever. And what you need to do is get a screwdriver in here and pry, in here and pry, and then there's a tab in here, and there's another tab down here. So you just have to work a way around. This is the one that's really holding it on, and these ones are just sort of centering it. Again, I can't do this and show you at the same time. Maybe I can let's put the camera right here, and tighten her up. Maybe I'll let it run, maybe we'll be able to see. So get that tab in there, and then make sure that these are released. should slide out. And when you slide this out, the cables came through. This is what we popped off earlier, and you'll notice the gray is on the top. And you slide that out, and it's away. So now we just have to take this mechanism off the latch and transfer it over to the new latch. We'll do that on the bench. So to transfer these over from one side to the next, what we need to do is there's sort of like a cover that clips onto the actuator that holds this assembly, and it's held on with some little clips. So this side, and up at the top here. So you just kind of have to go around and work these off. You can use a screwdriver or a pick and pick tool, and then just sort of get them off. So you get them off partially. Maybe get a screwdriver in here or another pick to hold it from relatching while you flip it over, and get the clip on the other side. Maybe 2 picks or a trim tool. Anyway, that's the idea. It's kind of a bit of a tricky thing to show. So let's see if I can get the pick tool in here, and then it's kind of a, there we go. And with those two released, should be able to get something in here just to hold it off. Come on. It doesn't seem to want to come off further than that. Ah, it's because there's another one down here. Well, maybe that wasn't one, but anyway, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Once we got the bottom part on, just don't want it to accidentally snap back on when I'm working the other side. So that's why I want to get something in, then come up to the top, and there's another clip on this side, and now it's come loose, and we can pull this whole assembly off. And then the next thing, there's the cable connector, which goes to the door handle, which pulls on the latch. So I don't know if you can see here, just pull up towards you. Maybe a trim tool of some kind. And then release it. And then from there, should be able to turn the cable to orient it so you can pull the ball out, and then there we go. So now we've freed this from the old actuator. So now we're just going to transfer it over to the new actuator. First thing we're going to do is put the ball back in. Hold it in place with your finger, pivot it over, and then line it up with this slot. And with a little bit of luck, once you got it lined up, it'll slide back in. There we go. And then this will unlatch it. Then position it on the surface that you need. Oops. This end. And then push it on. Make sure it latches on all the little tabs. And then there we go. That's basically all there is to it. You've got the latches on, and then there's that piece of foam, which you can. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but you can reinstall this. No doubt it helps to keep dust or dirt out from getting inside the door, or making it quieter. I'm not too sure. So there we go. Okay, so now it's time to put this back on. So get your actuator, feed the cables through, gray one on the top and black one on the bottom. Orient it through the holes, and what you want to do here is line yourself up to get this to clip onto the bracket. Yeah, we went over, so just make sure you're lined up, push until it clips on. I'm almost there. Oh, trying to do this with one hand is tough. And there it is, clipped on, and put the electrical connector back on. Good. Now, last thing I'm going to do is just try and fix up some of these door seals here before I put it back together to make sure it's all in the right place. Alright, so the assembly's back together. I'm just going to have to try and hold this in place and work my way in. So start off getting this in place. Got that in place. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. And then it should. Try and get one of the pins in. Oh, not that far. Can't do that because I'm... There you go. Pin in on the side. Pin in on that side. And I grab one of these bolts, one on the top. Put that into, maybe I just do this one. Come on. Just don't want it to fall back out. So you just have to start a couple of these between that and the dowel pins here and here will hold it in place. And now we can work on the door handle, the latch, and getting all that done. So let's just switch sides here. I'm gonna have to move the light so you guys can see. All right, so let's see if we can zoom in a little bit on the. All right, so I've fit it in from the other side. So we got to make sure there's a couple little plastic tabs here. You got to make sure they're in place, and you'll see the screw is now in the slot, and the little plastic tabs come through the hole, and so we now have that part in, and we're good. So then take your door handle, insert this end first, put it in all the way there, and then snap it in, and we should be good to go as far as that's concerned. Then we get the little cap, and the cap will go on there, and then we'll tighten the screw here. But first I want to get these three bolts, these Torx, these T30s started, and that's these guys. and that holds the latch in place. So the latch may not be exactly in place. We can use a small screwdriver or pick tool and put it in the hole, move it around until you get it in place, and then you should be able to get one of the bolts started. First, maybe I should move the camera to the other side. Here we go. So this is not sitting exactly in place. $10mm through this hole. Should thread itself right into that knob. And there we go. So seems to be working. All right. So now I'm going to make sure the seal's in place. I'm going to get all the screws back in and reinstall the electric motor, get the handle on, and I could show you doing that, but it's pretty straightforward stuff. If there's anything that's important, I'll shoot that part so you understand what to do. So otherwise, it's just sort of putting it back together, okay? So one of the things you need to do is get the door latch back on. So you snap the cables in, start of the reverse that you saw when we were taking it off, angle them out, put them through the slots, turn them, snap them in, and then install them with the 3 screws that go there. Now you'll know you have it right if the cables cross. If they don't cross, you would have the wrong cable in here. You can test this. Once you've got it in, you'll be able to, it should be working properly. There you go. When you pull the release, the door latch unlocks and you're all set. So you know that it's working properly. The next thing to do is to reattach the window. Now the window, you remember those bolts in the hole, the ones with the orange caps on them. There's one there, and there's one in there. And so you need to have the glass in. So to do that, you need to get your tape off and lower your glass in, and then I like to cycle it all the way up and then back down into the window, so then you know that it's all lined up, and then tighten it. So I'll do that while you guys are watching. Hopefully I'll try not to block you out. So what I'll do is I'll tighten this up, take the tape off, and then push it down so I know it's in the tracks, and look in the holes until the bolts come back into view. When they come out in view, then you get, alright, so now once you get your screws in the window, get your 10mm. Now I've just got a screwdriver there. It's got to be a little tighter than that, but not a lot. So just so again, not crazy tight, but because you're squeezing on the glass, obviously, and you just want to hold the glass in place. So there we go. So now, a little hard going up, but motor's got strength. So now we're going to want to reinstall the motor. If remember, it was pretty close to the top when we installed it. So what you're doing is getting the orientation correct, which if I recall, there. So the motor, just line up so the slots inside match up with the black into the gears, and then play your this one. There's one different one. Well, unfortunately, the camera memory ran out, and I didn't realize it. So I reassembled everything. I was almost done at the time that, and this is the second time I'm running a memory. I think I got to get a bigger card in this weekend. So anyway, some of the key notes is once you get the motor back on, get it plugged in. For the dough card, put the plugs back in, and it hooks, because it hooks on the top, sort of push it in, push it down, and that line up, make sure all your clips are lined up first, and then push it in, then get all your screws back in, snap your covers on, put the little tweeter in, kick the connection and push that in, and then you're all set, and then just test it, and it's been working just fine. So I want to thank you for watching Gary's Garage. I apologize for missing the last couple of steps there. I do appreciate your guys' support. Feel free to leave a comment, like the video, subscribe if you like what I'm doing. I'll try and keep posting videos. Sometimes I get busy and I don't get at some jobs, or where I'm in too much of a rush to actually shoot a video and I just do the job, unfortunately, but that's kind of the way it is. So I'll try and keep going for you guys. And thanks again for watching Gary's Garage.